From WFSB, Connecticut's #1 local news, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us on this December 22nd. We have a lot to cover this morning, but first, let's pass things on over to meteorologist Scott Haney for a check on our early warning. Some wind and a lot of rain coming, right, Scott?
Yeah, Nicole, I'm really concerned about the storm, especially along the coastline where there is going to be some possibly moderate to major flooding there with 2.5 to 3 feet of inundation. That's not good. Astronomically higher tides during the time of high tide. That's tomorrow morning. We'll get to this in just a second, but I just want to emphasize this. I also want to emphasize the flash freeze that is likely to take place Friday night, tomorrow night, as the temperatures start plummeting. Any standing water that's going to be on the roads from 2 to 3 inches of rain will have an opportunity to freeze up. There could be some slick spots on the roads Friday night through Saturday morning. Let's start off with today, though. We're doing pretty good. It was a beautiful sunrise. 38 to 46 today. Not bad. Isn't that stunning? Look at our iCam in Mystic. So beautiful. And New Haven alive with color this morning. Temperatures not too bad. We're in the mid-20s. Our Doppler scans to stay dry. That'll change late this afternoon through tonight. Now, the temperatures out there, once again, 23, typical overnight low. So we're doing a little bit better than that. A little bit cooler in Willimantic and Norwich, but we're right at it in Salisbury, a little bit above it in Windsor Locks, Brainerd, Meriden, New Haven, and in Bridgeport. The winds are basically calm this morning, so just a gentle breeze out there, but not too much of a wind chill. Going to widen out the shot here, show you where the storm is. It's to our south and to our west. These two components are going to join forces and create quite a mess in Connecticut. High pressure relinquishes control over us. And here comes that rain. It is going to be pouring. 1 o'clock in the morning, third shifters, beware. And then we get a little bit of a lull, and then the front actually moves through tomorrow afternoon, right around noontime, 1 o'clock, and that's when the temperatures start dropping. Could end as a little bit of snow on the tail end. Here's again, Futurecast up close and personal. Rain tonight, rain. Look at this rain very early tomorrow morning. And it's just pouring overnight tonight. And then again, that lull rolls in tomorrow morning, and then more rain and maybe even a little snow at the tail end of the system by about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Here's the coastal flood warning that I'm talking about. The water is going to get pushed in from east to west during the time of high tide. There the times are 8:42, 9:53, 10:35, and 10:41 Friday morning, tomorrow morning. 1.5 to 2.5 to possibly 3 feet of inundation. There's also a wind advisory in effect for winds cranking 50 to 60 miles an hour. Also a flood watch in effect for poor drainage flooding and river flooding in Litchfield County. There is a swath of real estate that moves through parts of New York, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. It's just Missouri. I mean, they're all under winter storm warnings. And then there are blizzard warnings in the areas shaded in red through the Dakotas, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota. It's just incredible. So if your flights are in and out of that part of the country, you might be delayed or canceled. You're just going to have to wait and see. We are in alert mode, 2 to 3 inches of rain on the way. Coastal flooding, river flooding is also a possibility. 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, and then that freeze, that flash freeze takes place tomorrow night through Saturday morning. Here's a look at the temperature forecast. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're balmy in the mid-50s, but here comes that cold front, and that cold front means business, dropping the temperatures back into the upper teens, low teens into the upper teens by 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Here are the wind gust prognostications, anywhere from 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 miles an hour. Look at this at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Whoa, that's tough. So the feels like temperature, well, it's going to feel balmy tomorrow until the front makes its way through, and then it goes into the negative numbers. This is Friday night, tomorrow night, -8, -11. Really, really very cold, and it stays cold through the weekend. Today's daytime highs climb into the low 40s. Wind and rain ramp up this afternoon and at night. Tomorrow's a stormy day, and then a cold afternoon and a bitter cold weekend Saturday and Sunday. Just about 7:05. Nicole, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Well, as you just heard him say, the shoreline should be getting the brunt of this severe weather. Power outages, of course, and flooding are expected in New Haven, and officials are preparing for the combination of warm temperatures with those severe conditions.
Potential loss of tree limbs or trees because the ground will start to get saturated with 50-degree temperatures. So like a lot of things hitting at one time, which will create different levels of of public safety issues. We've got our Parks DPW folks that will, we've got vehicles that are stacked up with barricades and over-the-road flooding signs that will go out on Friday. We anticipate at high tide, which is 10:30 Friday morning, we anticipate some flooding along the coast.
And experts recommend flashlights and generators at the ready to prepare for any potential power outages. Meantime, Bradley International Airport is putting out a warning ahead of the storm. Airport officials say they anticipate a flood of delays and cancellations, and we're already starting to see some flights canceled today. If you are flying, make sure you check in with your airline carrier before heading to the airport. Well, we are still following a big story this morning in Windham County, where we've learned a state trooper was hurt in a car crash on Route 6 in Chaplin last night. Eyewitnesses say a black truck that was involved actually flipped over into a ditch, forcing the trooper to crawl out. Lifestar responded, but an ambulance actually took both drivers to the hospital. This morning, we're working to figure out the extent of their injuries. And in West Hartford this morning, police are investigating the third crash involving a pedestrian in just the past week alone. Last night, a person was hit while they were walking on Mohegan Drive. Unfortunately, we know that they were seriously hurt, and they are still in critical condition this morning. Police say the driver stayed at the scene after the crash as investigators worked to figure out how it happened. Police in West Hartford are also searching for the driver of a car who struck and killed someone Tuesday night. 89-year-old Eugenia Yarovsky was run over while trying to cross Boulevard and Whiting Lane. Police believe the suspect's vehicle could be a light-colored sedan, and it likely has some front-end damage after that deadly hit and run. A group of New Haven students are safe this morning after their bus was actually grazed by gunfire. Now, the unsettling situation played out on Lamberton Street yesterday afternoon. None of the students on board were hurt, but it's unclear where the shot came from. A nearby car was also hit by gunfire. At this point, there is still no word on whether anyone in that vehicle was hurt. And police in Hartford are investigating a deadly shooting today. This now marks the capital city's 39th murder of the year. 23-year-old Jose Rodriguez of Manchester was found dead after he was shot inside of a stolen car right at the corner of Canton and Donald Streets yesterday morning. Investigators say this was a targeted attack and that they are still looking for the killer this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in to Eyewitness News on this Friday Eve. Remember, you can get news and weather updates anytime on the Channel 3 app. Please make sure you have that Channel 3 app handy. It is such an important resource, especially as we're trying to weather the storm that's coming. Be healthy, stay positive. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.